from Chuck Liddell. He's changing his flight so that he can get here for tomorrow. All right, so I said about 15 minutes ago, the number one thing this week in Phoenix, the number one thing every week, Super Bowl week, is not Sunday. And I mean this. I waited to book my flight so that I knew if I was going to be going to my favorite event of the year, and that's the Taste of the NFL. Let's welcome to the program Andrew Zimmern and Maureen Bausch. How are you both doing?
Fantastic. Thanks for the kind words.
And I truly mean this. It is my favorite event. I know that they've made some changes, which we're going to talk about. It's not the same chefs from the cities and such. But talk about your involvement, Andrew.
Well, I've been involved with Taste of the NFL for over 20 years. It is, to my mind, the best event of its kind. I agree with you. I think it is the most fun party at the Super Bowl. We have dozens and dozens of chefs, national caliber celebrity chefs, people you see on TV, the best local chefs from the Valley, activations with, CPAC students and, other various food booths. Dozens and dozens of Hall of Famers, active players, legends, celebrities, you name it. 2,500 people walking around eating the best food, drinking the best spirits and wines, all raising money to fight childhood hunger in America. So, when you combine an event like that on Super Bowl weekend with the level of people that are here and attending, and it's all for a cause that I think, what's more important than helping kids eat? Anyone who's for childhood hunger, I think should be immediately evacuated from our planet. It's just there is nothing better in my mind than this event.
If there is anyone who is for that, yeah. I will get them a credential.
Yes.
To come here tomorrow. At what time will Chuck be
when
here?
Chuck is here to get their butt kicked.
Right,
yes.
and Chuck will take care of it.
So Andrew, I gotta say, I'm in the hospitality industry.
Yep.
I own a pizzeria.
Right on.
People, basic nutrition, and it feels so fulfilling.
Food people are the best people in the world.
So my question is, as the inventor of the pizza diet, who became a professional bodybuilder eating pizza,
I love it.
How many pizza is going to be on Taste of the NFL? How many pizzas have you had?
I don't know because, historically, there's frequently someone who does a pizza-inspired dish. Doing pizza for 2,500 people and have it be fresh and excellent, right? As a chef,
for sure,
right? So people tend to do pizza-inspired things. So one year we had someone who did these wonderful little, essentially baked pizzelle breads, right? Really, really, really nice. Coming right out of the warmer, super fresh, and then they hit them with a beautiful tomato sauce, melted cheese, and torched them and did a pizza element, which I thought was very clever, right? After when people said there's pizza here, the line, I think, crushed them and overwhelmed them, right? I happen to be a pizza lover. I eat pizza every day of the week, and if I don't, it's a problem. So please inform me of this pizza diet. You'll email me when we're done with this thing.
He'll take over the next 2 hours.
Yeah, that's why I said email me.
Yeah. But let's get more on Gen Youth. Maureen, can you talk a little bit about that?
Just to double down on something that Maureen said, it's one thing to give a meal, right? It's one thing to give a couple dollars. When you're actually going into schools where the majority of the children are, and you're creating substantive change by making permanent programs in there, That means equipment, staff training, the stuff that was taken out of schools that led to the problem that we're in, where school lunches became nutritive and not cost effective, and shamed children who didn't have money for lunch. When they go in and make those kind of substantive changes, that's one of the things that helps solve the problem. One meal, one kid at a time. So the work that Gen Youth is doing is absolutely without peer.
I don't want to get political or any of that stuff, but being an American, a veteran, all that, it's sickening to me.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
You know, it's just sickening that we have people in this country that can't eat.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I mean, this is the Maureen cited the 1 in 8 stat. That is the official stat. No one raises their hand and says, hey, we're food insecure. A lot of people also don't know they're food insecure. They're skipping meals so that grandma can get medicine and kids can eat, meals every single day. So what I think is really vital to understand is that the problem is actually worse, right? And we've all seen it. We know it exists. We're in the richest, most fabulous country. I'm as big a patriot as you are. We're in the most wonderful country on planet Earth, in the history of planet Earth, that we have hungry children, we have hungry people wherever the public dollar intersects with food is shameful, criminal, and genocidal.
So I have to tell you one story from last year, what we did with the money from last year. And we couldn't do this without our folks for PepsiCo, American family. But we use the money to redo 6 high school cafeterias in the kid area. Because high school kids go to 7-Eleven to get their chips for dinner. We put in smoothie machines, we did all the things that allowed them to use those cafeterias by these kids who desperately needed that. Just shot up 60%. The Celsius for that smoothie machines.
Really? Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it's those kind of programs that people don't even think that really help to get right food to kids in these places.
You said, let's not get political. I'm going to say, let's not get religious. But, give a man a fish, right, versus teach a man to fish. Putting that smoothie machine in, right, retrofitting school cafeterias, that's what I mean by substantive change.
Sure. I don't know if you're aware of this. You probably are. This is basically an MMA combat show that we do. We do everything, but that's my love. When I talk to fighters, fight week, now they're cutting weight, so they're starving themselves. And do you know that they watch the Food Network to get through that week?
It's pretty funny. I have a lot of friends who are in the sport. I'm a big fan as well, probably a super fan. I doubt that there's an event that goes down that isn't watched live or taped in my house. It's interesting when I meet fighters and combat sport participants, and we start talking diet and nutrition, because it is very, very specific, especially with sports where you have to reach a certain weight. And it is incredible what that yo-yoing does, and we now find that people are seeking much more nutritive, permanent solutions to sort of stabilize a weight so they're not ballooning up and coming down. As a sidebar, partner and I own a catering company whose only clients are professional sports teams. So it's something that we're really head, ass, and overcoat involved in. It's pretty fun. It turns out that the biggest subgroup of food TV fans are professional athletes of all kinds, because they frequently have daytime hours free. They're at the gym, they're running. I just talked to Joe Montana a couple of minutes ago, and he reminded me, he said, remember, I'm the guy that watches you on TV all the time while I'm on the bike. He chooses to work out so that he can watch reruns of my old shows. I mean, that's hysterical.
It's definitely crazy. So speaking, who do you like on Saturday? That in Perth?
Oh my gosh. I know this is, I've not seen anyone at the level of what Volkanovski has been able to do, and especially his last couple of fights. You look at some of the, I'll just say, older fighters, right? He's not a rookie, right? But you look at what he's done the last couple of fights. If you don't tell me that guy knows how to get ready for this fight, I don't see how he loses. I really don't. I watched his last fight. I thought his hand speed alone was better than his previous couple fights that I saw him, and that was as fast as it is. I just, the mindset, I mean, look, you guys do this, for a living. People underestimate the mental aspect of this sport, or any sport for that matter. Any sport for that matter. And I think that's going to be the difference maker. I can't bet against Volkanovski.
My only concern is going up in weight. When they're both equal and you're going to go up in weight. I mean, look what Israel went up.
That's
the
right.
same thing happened. That's my only concern. So March 4th, John Jones returns.
Yep.
I already believe he's the GOAT. I told Dana on Tuesday, and he agreed. This solidifies if he wins.
Yes.
Does John Jones win?
I don't think he loses either. I just think he has been a professional for so long. He knows. I believe he knows in his heart, and this is where that mental part of the game comes in. Lose, and I'm the butt of jokes for the rest of my life. Win, and it cements I'm the best that ever lived. I think he goes in there. I think he's been training for a long time. He's been at this larger weight for a long time. I think it's scary to think about the kind of power that he has with a couple extra pounds. I mean, and plus from a technique standpoint, from a mind game standpoint, look at what he's done to some people mentally, where in the first round, second round, he's just ticky-tacking, hitting them, touching them, and then bang. I again, can't bet against John Jones. I don't know how you do.
I think he's more scared about going home and his two brothers beating him up.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I would love to.
The radio guy.
The thing that I love even more, so I've covered the UFC since day one.
Yep.
UFC 1 I covered. UFC 11 was the first one I physically covered, and I've been to almost the rest. So seeing mainstream, and you're mainstream, being so passionate about the sport that I helped kind of get it means everything to me and to Dana, and that's what he said. It's awesome.
Well, people turned me on to it, and I was a high school wrestler, then I became a chef, and that whole thing just went up. I discovered girls and drugs, and I had a natural aptitude for cooking, and my life went off in a different direction. But doing what I do for a living at a high level allowed me to meet different people in different walks of life, and I got turned on to this thing. I went over to Thailand, and I got into Muay Thai. On trips over there where our fixers and other locals who were joining our crew while we were making TV would take me to the big matches and the big stadiums. The food over there is out of sight. I mean, you have to leave the stadium to go get it, but then you walk back in with, incredible, green curry frog's legs and, grilled spicy chicken, and you sit there and you're watching matches, and it was explained to me. I learned the nuance of the sport from ex-fighters and current fighters who were there as my hosts. It was something that I will never forget. I actually have a Muay Thai tattoo on the back of my neck that was given to me by a bunch of fighters at a camp where they had a tattoo artist who was there.
Willingly or unwillingly?
Well, willingly, but I didn't know up until the time they said take your shirt off that's what they were going to do. And it was done Sankyat style with a giant needle and ink that they made themselves. So I think that's where it started off for me. That was about 10 years ago, and it set the hook, and it never left. I think it's an ultimate sporting contest.
Have you done any training? Do you do any jiu-jitsu or anything like that?
I do not, but I look like I'm a badass.
That's a professional right there. I'll pay your $7.77 fine.
I'll pay it gladly. So my question came up from that conversation about nutrition and education. We understand the need to feed children that have nothing, but there's also another epidemic outside of obesity. Is there an educational protocol along with
and adult?
Oh, wait, but
Our organization works in the physical fitness area too, and we provide equipment to the schools that we get girls with, because that's a really tough demographic. 75% girls by the age 13 or younger. And so we do flight football, which is for boys and girls, and then we provide kids for the schools for the girls to get them into other kinds of sports that they may not enjoy. So yes,
And you make a great point. I just want to add, those substantive changes that Gen Youth goes in and makes is to make nutritious, healthy meals for young people. They're not making, it's not a plate of mashed potatoes, cream corn, and French fries. They're putting equipment in so that kids can have healthy, balanced, nutritious meals. A lot of vegetables, fresh cooked food, so that we're starting that nutrition and health conversation earlier in their lives than ever before.
Well, if I can be an advocate of pizza and like what means on, and cooking food at higher temperatures to release more antioxidants, I would love to contribute my services as the individual pizza diet to help educate, to incorporate favorite food into a lifestyle. I became a professional bodybuilder eating nothing but pizza. GQ magazine
Stephen Espinosa,
2016 honors.
Showtime president Stephen Espinosa, 11:45, so whatever you guys are ready.
To show the power of pizza.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
But I love giving back to the youth and educating them how to incorporate science, macronutrients, moderation.
It's so important, and there's 100 paths to health and wellness, right? I mean, that's what science will tell you, right? There's many different ways. We're glad, and I mean, I'm so grateful to be associated with Gen Youth that is actually picking one that makes sense for people, and then they can get turned on to specialized stuff like that. Let's get them body aware, exercise aware, nutrition aware. Let's feed them and then move forward with something that isn't, where they're not getting dinner at Walgreens.
Where can people get information? Are there tickets still available for Saturday?
Yes, and we'll be at the door too. We'll keep a few back so people that just want to know stuff like that. But it's tastylevel.com. It's very simple. We love you for donating because the program is good now. But you'll see the chefs. The food is going to be phenomenal. Come from the chefs have gone all out.
And here's my suggestion. If you're not able to attend this year, you have a year to save up
Yes.
and buy a ticket
Come
for
to
Vegas.
Well, here's the other thing. We would love your dollars because it all goes to help kids, right? Because we have sponsors who are paying for everything else. But here's something that's as important. If you heard something today that's inspired you, just put tasteofthenfl.com in an email and send it to everyone on your list and tell them you heard something important that makes a difference in the lives of young people in this country that's desperately needed. Because awareness and shining the light of recovery on this subject of hunger is going to end it permanently. Nothing else will.
Awesome stuff. We appreciate your time, Andrew, Maureen. We will see you Saturday. We're going to get your address. We're going to mail you a care package from 8 Man Strong.
Love it.
It's a big MMA sponsor, so you'll do that, and we'll take care of that. We appreciate your time. We'll see you Saturday. Let's go hit a quick break. When we come back, Steve Espinosa from Showtime.
Really? Yeah, so if you don't mind name, address, and t-shirt size.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much.
What tremendous work you guys are doing. It's amazing.
So then you could email me and I'll get you in touch with the Gen Youth, all the folks and everything that we need. Thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Here's my card. And everything I said is true. I waited to book my return flight because we're leaving Saturday night, and I kept telling them, I'm going to wait. I got to reach out. Or we're going to leave earlier in the day, but I'm staying. I don't care.
I think it's going to be really worth it this time. In my tenure, this is the best group